All right, you guys, podcast time. We got the equipment and the perfect business plan. Give our show away for free and tell no one how to find it. Ready?
Welcome to another episode of the Brand X Podcast, episode 54. I'm John. Alongside of me, my co-host, Deuce.
Lighten up, Francis.
Come on, stop, bitches.
I was going to say, I have to have some energy. And Joe said, listen, every once in a while, I would like to come and, why don't we broadcast on a Friday? So, I would have the day off the next day. So we broadcast on Friday, and Joe, we got no Joe.
Yeah, they're having a send-off for a friend of, we were all friends, but Joe and he were in the same class, and he is moving on to one of the Carolinas, I forget which. So there's a big party in the old hometown, and they're seeing him off.
Oh, so I thought it was because he had like a date tonight. Thought he was getting a little bit of tail.
Not that can't happen at the send-off.
That's true, I guess.
One can only hope. Yeah, at the send-off.
Well, yeah, everybody... Every once in a while.
What's a reunion without a reunion?
There you go.
Just saying.
Just saying. So one of the reasons we're doing a Friday night show is because of Radio Vegas Rocks, or is it Vegas Radio Rocks? I get it wrong all the time. I think it's
Vegas.
Vegas Radio Rocks. Is it? Do you know? You're shaking your head. Okay, so good. All right, it's Vegas Radio Rocks. I'm sorry. I just, me.
Radio Vegas Rocks.
I'm a dunce. And I'm
a little hard on yourself. I would say you're a dunce.
I am. I'm a dunce, and
you know what you're talking about. You're just not clear.
There you go. And I also have the horrible South Jersey accent, and I don't even know what I'm doing. And then when I hear someone tell me, I'm like, I go back and listen. I'm like, oh yeah, how about that?
So you heard Jerry?
Oh, yes. And he's absolutely right. But, and Jerry's the nicest guy to us. He's in our corner all the time. But he says, John's got that South Jersey. He asked Dave, am I as bad as John? And Dave's like, I don't think you're as bad as John. And he's not. So my apologies to Lorne from Bold and Belligerent. It's not Lorne, which, I guess we have like a thing with our A's. Like Oregon.
No. And there you are speaking French again.
Florida.
What's this wee shit?
Yeah, you're right.
I find myself saying Florida or Florida. I don't know why. I find myself going back and forth. I believe the proper, as close as it can be, is Florida.
Right.
But I do catch myself saying Florida.
And I also think that a lot of people in this area, either it's the way we were brought up and taught how to speak, but we almost have not you. God forbid I lump you in.
I have an accent. I'm not denying that I do.
People from South Jersey kind of have a fat, lazy tongue. It's like maybe I can make it over there to make that sound, but maybe not.
Well, I know down here in South Jersey where we're at, consonants drop out of the middle of the word. Like the first meal of the day, breakfast.
Breakfast.
That K completely disappears with most of the people down here.
And then we get to, with the words ing.
Ing.
Ing, like if I was fishing and hunting or I was going somewhere, we get to that and we're like, you know what? We don't need that G.
Right.
So we go.
The state capital is not Trenton. It's
Trenton.
Just roll right over that end of the T. The mall around the corner, Deptford.
Right.
It's Deptford.
And then, if we're going to go, we go hunting. We don't go hunting. We go hunting. Hunting, fishing, going. We're going to the mall.
One of the more interesting ones I always found is the word Creek.
Crick.
All right. The weirdest thing about that is there's a couple of creek roads here.
Right. Crick Road.
Most people do say most of the people that say crick, like I went and played down by the creek, they say Creek Road. You're playing with my mic.
We've messed around with the settings today, and I feel like we're a little hot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So the accent thing is really a weird dynamic. So
I apologize to the rest of the world. You're going to have to listen to my fat, lazy tongue muscle through some of these stories and shows. And when I get excited and I get talk, then it really happens.
Yeah, I like when you get all tongue-tied.
I do. I hate myself. Is the
self-loathing over my accent.
Fat, lazy-tongued jackass.
Where's your shirt?
Right here.
Yeah.
We were.
Now I got even.
Yeah. Well,
I got mine on.
I was a little late. I'll tell you the story. My ex-wife calls me, and my son goes to once a month. My son goes to this thing. It's called Fun Friday. It's where they go and they have like games and stuff like that. And she says, "Listen, I can't make it out of work in time. Can you go get them?" So I said, "Okay." So I'm thinking to myself, "All right, Deuce is going to be here at 7:15, so I can get there, come back, and I should be here plenty of time."
And set up.
So 5 o'clock, I blast on out of here. I get there. Friday at 5 o'clock, everybody's coming home. Traffic. So I get there a little bit late, and I make it and drop him off. And my youngest says, "Dad, can you take me to Chick-fil-A, which is on the way? I want to get something to eat." So I'm like, "All right." So get in. Now, I'm not the fan of Chick-fil-A that you are, but okay. So
your loss.
Yeah, I understand. But I'll tell you what, so many people are. So I roll around the corner, and I'm in a hurry. So I'm not even looking. I'm just on autopilot. So I rip around the corner. I go into the parking lot, and it is packed. It's like
Planet Hollywood on steroids.
It is amazing. There's not a parking spot to be had, and there's a thing where you have the what's it called? The drive-in line. There's supposed to be one line, and then there's so cars can get in and out of the parking spots. But they have that thing where it goes from one line into two ordering spots.
Okay, the split.
Well, these people are like, guess what? We're doubling up. So all the way to they've doubled up. Now the people that were inside that are coming out, they can't get out. They can't back out. They're stuck there. And I'm like, holy cow! Because I got to the right, I always went to the left, and then people pulled up along the right side of me. And to Chick-fil-A's credit, they had two girls out there
with the pads.
They're taking
awesome.
Your order.
Yeah.
So they're taking your order, and then they took another girl, and she's running your money up and paying. So they're doing their best. It was unbelievably crowded. I couldn't believe it. So we're sitting there. I'm like, oh, come on, because I don't want to be late to get here. So I race home. I drop her. I just kind of pull up. Oh, get out!
Tuck and roll.
Yeah, throw her out of the truck, and I race back here. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it with 5 minutes to spare. Deuce won't be here. I pull around the corner. There he is. He's sitting there
I am.
with a pizza.
Yeah,
brought pizza tonight.
Pizza.
All right. So what's Deuce drinking tonight? It's an amber. It's not a dark.
This is. Let me put my glasses on. This is a Two Roads Brewery. I believe they're out of Connecticut.
Man, that's a big beer.
Well, it's a 750 milliliter.
It's like a pint.
Well, it's 1 pint, 9 ounces.
Okay, so it's more than
it's
a pint.
almost two regular bottles of beer.
I'll tell you one thing about Deuce. He's very accurate.
Stratford, Connecticut. And it's Two Roads, and this is the 20-ton ale. It's a blonde barley wine, 12% alcohol. So that's a regular beer is 6%. This is double the alcohol content. So it'll set you free.
Yeah. Guess what? You there?
Hey.
What's going on?
I am. What's up, dude?
We're taking our very first call.
Hey, Jason. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
See, you can hear.
All right.
We had a little discussion the other day. Jason's like, "Hey, you're not going to be able to hear me." And I'm like, I think they'll be able to hear.
Well, you and I just had a discussion. I was like, well, wait a minute. How's Jason going to hear us?
And I said, don't you worry. John's got it all under control. The only thing that I did was I just recorded the first probably 10 minutes. I forgot to press record on the recorder. So the first 10 minutes of the show, I didn't record. So welcome to the show.
We were watching it, though. We were watching it on Facebook Live.
There you go.
So Mindy's here.
Hey, Mindy.
Hello, Mindy. How you doing?
Now, is Bob there also?
Have I noticed?
Go ahead.
No, he's on vacay.
Yeah, we did our pod today without him. We just got bored, so we said, let's do it. So
that was amazing because you said that you were not going to do a show, and then all of a sudden I saw your show pop into my podcast catcher, and I'm like, maybe they're doing a best of, or maybe they're just doing an old show or something they're throwing in there. And then Deuce comes in because, of course, he listens to it as soon as it hits his.
Yeah, I was ecstatic. I woke up from a nap and I was like, wow, this can't be right. So I listened to that on the way over here.
So quick question.
That's awesome.
Is there any T-shirts to buy? Any 3 Is Comedy T-shirts to buy yet?
Yeah, we worked on it today. We bought ourselves some shirts so that we can see,
Test them out.
Yeah, see what they look like before we really go live, because I want to kind of see what they, if our logo worked out, if the logos we uploaded worked out, and how they turn out. So, but yeah, we did all that. Thank you, John. It's totally cool, man. What a cool site.
Yeah, he's doing this. He's using the TeePublic site that we are using. Deuce is in his, he's got the red. He's in his Republican red Brand X podcast.
Red's
show.
my favorite color.
Of course it is.
Just because the Republicans co-opted it was a plus.
There you go.
That's funny. Well, we have red options, and of course we uploaded like 4 or 5 different logos,
4, I think,
different styles. So
I got to get Deuce on that. We got to get more than just the Brand X logo. We got to figure something else out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all the same logo. It's just there's just 4 or 5 different versions of it, like different colors and stuff. So.
Okay, well, that sounds really, really cool.
So there's the classic 3 is Comedy logo, and now you have the current 3 is Comedy logo, I'm assuming?
Yep, that's right. And we've got a blue one, and then we've got kind of similar to the current logo, but it's without all that fancy detail. You'll see them. They're really cool. You can. I'll send you the link so you can check them out.
Please do, because I'll be buying them.
And if you want to take the chance and buy one, that's up to you. We want to
test
see
them
them
out
first. So.
No, I'll buy them.
Deuce doesn't care.
We like quality.
That's right. So, it's funny. One of the things that I love is that when Mindy, we were talking, I was listening to the show.
Talking.
See, I'm doing the talking.
Talking.
Yeah, talking. I was talking to Deuce about some of the stuff that you say, and I said, man, they would make perfect sound bites. So, of course, that I have the one with Mindy where she says, eat a dick sandwich, and then I was realizing, what, the Jason part of that really kind of makes it. So I had to isolate that. So now I have,
whoa.
I just have the Jason whoa.
Nice.
But then after,
but then after that, I thought to myself, well, you know what? I could do so much with this.
Whoa.
So then we decided to do this.
Whoa. Whoa!
Oh, that's great.
So we have the Jason Woe Song of the Week, and I think that might actually be a nice little segment, because when Deuce looked this up, I think there's, how many songs did it say there was with Woe
1,900 songs have Woe in it. Not that we know them all. We picked a few of them. It was after the last podcast, we wrapped it all up, but I said, you could just drop that into any song and it'll work. And then John said, Collective Soul would be like awesome. So,
of course, I pull it up, and then I got it I have it in my.
We were here till like midnight fucking around with that.
we are on a roll. And to be honest with you, this week has been a crazy week for me. So I didn't get a chance because I got 2 other songs that I wanted. So now, for the next couple of weeks, we will have a segment of the Jason Woe Song of the Week.
Oh, that's awesome. You guys are awesome.
We're having a lot of...
Well, we're going to take your advice, John, and also create something that's a T-shirt that says, eat a dick sandwich.
Yeah, I just have to have somebody design something. Maybe just a sandwich, but maybe it doesn't have a dick in it, of course. But
why wouldn't you put a dick in the sandwich?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
I could.
You should have a dick. You should have it like the head out of the one side, the hairy balls out of the other. I mean, that would be perfect.
Deuce, don't you design logos?
I have been known to, yes.
Deuce is a very good character drawer. He kind of, when we first started the show, if you go back to episodes like 1 through 10 or so, he would draw all the episode art. And that was one of the things I loved about him. When we started this show 30 years ago, sitting at a bar, and we were sitting there and we would be talking about something, and the next thing you know, he would flip over the mat.
Always had a pen with me.
And he would start drawing stuff, and some of them were hysterical. And, I said I want to take and incorporate that into the artwork. But he does a great job with the episode artwork.
It took so long to do that stuff.
Right.
It's actually, I understand why people use computers now, because you had to clean your brushes, clean the ink pens. That's what I was using, pen, ink, tempera, watercolor. And it was taking so long, so that's why I switched to computer.
Right.
Well, there's a dick sandwich in your future.
There's something I really never wanted to hear.
It's all about context, John. It's all about context.
Yeah, there's a Deuce. There is a dick sandwich in your future. If you could, I don't know if you have time or if you could mock something up for us.
He can
it
do
may
that.
end up on our next T-shirt. So.
Oh, I guarantee it'll be done.
I'll get right on that.
I'm sure he will.
Awesome.
I'll figure something out.
That'd be awesome.
I guess it was 2 weeks ago that it was on a snow. It was the 2nd or the 3rd, June 2nd or 3rd. On the Saturday was podcast T-shirt day. And it went over so well that they're thinking about making the first Saturday of the month podcast T-shirt day, which I think is fantastic.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So you can wear different podcast T-shirts. Like I'll get a 3 is Comedy, and there's a couple other ones that I want to get. And, and not only is it supporting the other podcasts that we listen to and the ones that we love, showing the shirt and all, but it actually just kicks a little bit of money back into the community and stuff like that. So I was really...
Exactly.
It's a lot of fun to do something like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that idea. I saw all over the Potter family and everything that they're doing. Certainly we should start, hopefully some of the Hush Your Face guys will get T-shirts. And I encourage them. We should probably share, this whole thing that you shared with me. What is the name of the site again?
TeePublic. I'll put a link.
TeePublic.
I'll put a link in the show notes about TeePublic where you can go. And it's how easy was it to make up those shirts?
Incredibly easy.
Yeah.
You do a little storefront.
Very user friendly.
Right. And then what I did was on our website, I use WordPress on our website. So I was able to just make it brandxpodcast.com/gear and it takes you right there. So I guess you could also use a bit.ly or something if you don't have that. I don't know if how Podbean's websites work or something like that, but there's always a way to throw a little link in there where they can go right to it.
There is, and I did do it playing around, but and you guys can actually go there if Deuce, if you wanted to, you can go there now because it is live now. You can go on our website and it'll say podcast. I mean, it'll say something about our I don't know what it says. I forgot what I put because I was just kind of doing a test. But inside the comment, there's a little link you can click. It's not very good, but we're going to do the website thing too. So I don't want to make this whole thing.
I know. I was like ruining the show here.
But we'll talk later, John, about some of this stuff, obviously.
Okay.
But what I was trying to say is for the podcast T-shirt day, I'd like for some of those guys to get T-shirts, the Hush Your Face guys, so we can promote their stuff a little bit too.
All right. Well, I'm going to put Deuce on this. We'll get a Hush. All right. We'll do this. We'll grab the Hush Your Face logos, and then I'll get Deuce to make me, I guess, that like a little patch thing like you did before.
Oh, like the much sought after, rare, original Brand X patches?
No. I'll talk to you about this off the air. But what we'll do is we'll make one, and then we'll put Hush Your Face Network, and it'll have all our logos.
Oh, like the shout-out page that I made.
That's it. Exactly. Okay. The shout-out page.
In fact, I got to redo that.
That'd be cool.
And then we'll put the shout-out, and then we'll put the Hush Your Face Network in there.
We're going to have a shout-out banner made up.
And it's going to go
hang up next to our banner because a lot of podcasters' logos are really awesome. There's a lot of artwork and they just pop. A lot of them are really, really fantastic. And I thought, how cool would it be to have them like a tapestry? And it works.
Yeah, and besides that, it'll be like behind me, so you won't see that. It doesn't look like we're at
a militia meeting.
Militia meeting. Someone said it looks like we're having a militia meeting.
We have the blue towel over John's head is because the sun was coming in like a rampaging beast, and you couldn't see anything. It looked like an otherworldly experience.
I looked like an alien with a sun head. It was. I couldn't even see my own face from the way that the sun was going into the camera. So now we went totally white trash, and we threw a towel up over the window.
Hey.
Whatever works.
Where's Joe tonight?
Joe is at a friend of ours from, he graduated with him. Joe and he were a grade behind me in school, and he's going to one of the Carolinas. He's relocating. So they're having a send-off in the old hometown. So
awesome.
That's bullshit. I think really he's got a girl coming over, and it's going to be a little...
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
little boinkity boink boink?
Little boinkity boink boink for Joe, yeah. But,
wearing out the headboard.
Yeah. Pinky Joe. Uh-oh.
Poor Joe. See what happens, Joe, when you don't show up? We talk about you.
No, you got to have broad shoulders to be a podcaster.
That's true.
People talk shit on you.
If you're not here.
Well, it's kind of like not having Bob, so your chair's missing there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. We did ours without Bob, but it was moments where it's like, Bob would have said something right.
Yeah, it is. Well, I was expecting it when I was listening to it. I was like, Oh, there's no Bob. Because you know he's got a quip that's going to come in there like lightning.
Yeah, Bob is your Deuce.
Hilarious.
Deuce always
Exactly.
constantly corrects me. Like today I said...
I do not.
There you go. You just did it.
Exactly. So I said, what's that, a pint of beer? He goes, pint and 9 ounces. Okay, dude.
Well, it's a 750 mil.
I know, I understand, but you couldn't give me a little leeway?
No.
Never. Never like...
It's for your own good.
That's right. In the podcast shout-outs, we have one from Ped and Meller, and the Ped, we always call him Viva la Pedros.
But John can't spell.
I can't spell, so I refuse to change it, and he refuses to say it correctly. So it's a standoff.
We're at
right
an
now.
impasse.
Yes, we are.
We're all booked up for California. Just to give you a heads
we're
up.
looking forward to that.
Oh, can I say something? I found a beer and winery. So you do a couple breweries
Awesome.
and 3 wineries.
So we
Nice.
don't know the cost yet, but we'll look. We're going to look into it. But we're very excited, and you and I are definitely looking forward to hanging with you guys, and we're going to start booking our hotel and everything like that. But we don't want to keep you guys. You guys got a whole show you can do. We just wanted to give you the first call and see how it worked out for you.
I already have the name for the tour. It's the 4 is Wasted tour.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
We'll go with that. There you go.
Anyway, guys, we'll let you go, but I would like
you.
to do the 3 is Brand X again. We have the setup to do it now, so let's make that happen. Maybe we can even make it happen, very soon here. I would love to do this with you guys again and have it sound a lot better.
Hopefully you guys will have a more enjoyable time.
Hey, listen, this is because I was saying to Deuce the other day when we did that by the time I got done with that, I was exhausted. Because it's just
it
the
won't
feedback.
happen again.
No, it's good, but we'll be good. I'm definitely. We'll set that up. We'll put that on the calendar, and we'll set it up. We'll get
Perfect.
Bob, and we'll do it. Sounds good.
Did you want to share the other sound drop that we were able to pick up from?
Okay.
John forgot about this one.
I didn't forget about it. I was, believe it or not, I was actually censoring myself. But this is one of my new favorite ones.
Eat my fart box.
When did you find that one? Did you say that recently? Maybe?
I don't know.
Oh,
That was actually the 3 is Brand X show. Deuce remembered that. And we when we were doing when I was looking up the music, he was going through and he found it. He's okay at 42:30. She said it, so I went and grabbed it, and then now we have
Eat my fart box.
So
she is a soundbite queen now.
she is a soundbite queen. I definitely
really
is a soundbite queen.
Oh, boy.
And they're
This is the
so
weirdest
spontaneous, they come right out. And they're always directed at you, Jason.
I wonder why that is.
What's the deal? What did I do?
You just have to look at me.
Giving you 19 good years.
You've been married 24, but he gave you 19 good years.
Exactly. We've been together 19. I've given you 5 good years out of that. Come on, man.
What's wrong with you? All right, guys.
Well, guys,
we will set
go
that
ahead,
up.
John. Yes, we will. We'll be in touch. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. We love you.
Yeah.
And we're going to listen right now after this is over. So,
All right.
And thanks for calling in, guys. It was great.
bye, guys.
Bye.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, that was actually awesome.
I was like psyched that there was an extra episode today. I was like, oh, well, they're going to be on vacation.
Well, you are a very, not that I'm not a 3 is comedy fan, but you are a 3 is comedy
I woke up from a
fanboy.
nap and I looked at my phone and like, this can't be right. So,
You're like,
all right.
oh, an extra episode.
Yeah, it was. My nipples popped out through my shirt. It was great.
Too funny. So anyhow, got some bad news. My mom passed away Wednesday. So we knew because she was diagnosed with cancer. It was a late diagnosis. And they tried to treat it, and they couldn't treat it. It was untreatable. And so my sister took her home and kept her comfortable, and she passed away on Wednesday. So, I don't do death well. I try. I mean, you try. I guess it really didn't affect me until my father passed away, which was 16 years ago. And that happened real sudden. And then what happened was there was a dust up between my father's side of the family, his girlfriend at the time, and, with me, because this was like very, very unexpected. And,
Yeah. Your dad was very young.
He was only 60. He just turned 60.
Right.
And the whole thing got nasty with the family, mostly because of my dad's ex-girlfriend, because she was a twat. But anyhow, after that, I've always had problems with when someone dies. I don't know what to say. I hate funerals. I have back in 2003, and I don't even know where these came from. Back in 2003, every once in a while, like when I get into certain social situation stuff, I have panic attacks. Now, just so you know, I know that there's no reason to have a panic attack. I know there's no reason to do this. Mm-hmm. I know that I'm fine. I know everything. But for some reason, my body, I can feel my heart beating in my ears. I start sweating like I ran a marathon. It just pours off me. I get my hair's soaked. It's just ridiculous.
Was it like when there's a group of people?
It's just like in a
when you say a social situation, you mean like large groups of people?
Yeah,
or?
It's usually like a large, like a wedding or something like that.
Really?
And, it's ridiculous. About 2 years ago, I was seeing someone, and she says, "Will you go to a wedding with me?" And I was like, "Ugh, I don't know."
Did you make that face?
Yeah.
This could be why you're single.
That's right. It is why I'm single. Because I didn't want to go.
Right.
And she's like, "Well, I don't want to go." I'm like, "Take your daughter." She's like, "I want to go with you." And I was like, "Okay, we'll go." So I put on a suit and we go. And I'm sitting there and I don't know. I guess I don't know these people or what, I just don't know these people. And it makes no sense because you know me. I mean,
yeah, you're a pretty outgoing guy.
I don't even know. I don't know why this happens. I really don't know why this happens. So I'm sitting there and all of a sudden the water starts and it's just sweat is pouring. She's looking at me. She was like, "Oh my God." And we're there. I got the cloth napkin. And I'm wrapping it, mopping myself up and everything. I'm soaked underneath my suit jacket, the whole shirt soaked. And she's like, "Holy cow, I had no idea." I'm like, I told you several times. I told you that.
Like you were making it up.
Yeah, she thought I was making this up, because I just didn't want to go to a wedding with her. Mm-hmm. I'm like, "Look, here you go." It was crazy. So, I fought through it, but it's just one of those things. So now I have to do this for my mother, and it's going to be the same thing because this is going to be worse than any kind of wedding that I have to go to. So when I'm sitting there with a towel like I'm playing in the NBA finals, soaking wet with this, everybody will know, well, everybody that listens or my friends that listen will know that, it's just this crazy thing that I have. And I don't know, it started right after the twins. When I found out I was having, we were having twins. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, I have 5, we're going to have 5 kids. And what am I going to do with 5 kids?
Yeah. 3 pregnancies, 5 kids. Like, what?
Let me tell you something. That's the kind of man I am.
Yeah. Overachiever.
I am. I'm an overachiever in that area. It's one of the only areas.
Your ex had nothing to do with it. It was all you.
No, it is her. It's totally her.
Yeah. Well, exactly. To have twins, it's got to be.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, so that's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. My family's coming up here, and it's just one of those things.
Is she going to be laid to rest next to your dad? I'm assuming.
Well, it's going to. We have a whole row in this cemetery.
Okay,
the whole row of us. But she's actually, when my mom and dad split up when I was 17, they both hooked up with somebody else and were with them for 17 or 18 years. So my dad died in July, and then my mom's boyfriend died the next March or April, somewhere like that. Mm-hmm. So we're all in a line there. So it's going to be my ex-wife's mother and father, my dad, me, my ex-wife, my mother's boyfriend, and then my mother. And I say to my kids, well, at least you don't have far to go. If you ever decide to show up.
One-stop shopping.
One-stop shopping. We're all there, grandparents, mother, father.
Yeah.
I really, after this whole thing with my mother, I just said to my kids, I apologize that, one day I'm going to die and I'm going to put you through this. And, I don't want to. But one day this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were flying her up here because she didn't want to be cremated. This will be the first time we ever put her on a plane without medication. She was a horrible flyer.
Right.
When she would go down to see my sister, she would take a 12-hour train ride.
Instead of
flying.
Flight? Wow.
She hated to fly. And if I flew down there with her, we'd always get some kind of sedative to give her. And I'd say, okay, take this.
I think that's why they serve so much liquor on planes back in the old days.
Yeah.
Just to calm people down.
Yeah.
Then that became socially unacceptable. And now you have a lot of jittery people doped up on Dramamine instead. That's so much better.
We're sitting there, we're getting ready to board the plane, and I'm standing next to my mom, and she looks at me and she goes, I really hope this plane don't crash. And
pretty much everyone on the plane hopes that.
Everybody's head whips around, and they're like, yeah, Mom, we all hope the plane don't crash. So.
But I told you, we go out to California, and we were just talking about, we're going to go first class. Because
Yeah, baby.
I flew in economy to Vegas, and that's from here in Philly. That's a 5-hour flight.
Right.
It is not fun. It's not fun. I mean, if you're doing a puddle jump to like to the Carolinas, Florida, I can do a couple of hours.
Right.
I ain't doing 6 to California. It ain't happening.
Well, for me, I either have to get first class or I have to buy, I'm a 2-seater.
Yeah.
I got to buy the 2-seater. So, which isn't bad, because you have both seats there and it's not, it's not too bad. But I remember the last time I flew, I went to Fort Lauderdale for work. And so I got the 2 seats and I'm sitting there and the guy comes and he sits next to me and all. He starts putting all his shit, like all his stuff on the seat. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you got $100? And the guy looks at me. I said, because I paid $200 for that chair. Unless you have another $100, get your shit off my seat. Yeah, get your shit off my seat.
Did he think you were joking?
No, and I wasn't.
No, I know you weren't, but did he think you were joking?
Yeah, well, maybe I think he chuckled, and then I gave him that, that jersey.
The hairy eyeball?
Yeah, that hairy eyeball, and he's like, oh, okay, all right. I'm like, yeah. And I spread my stuff out there.
Like a virus.
Yeah.
I'm taking over.
Right. If I got to pay the fat tax,
right, you're
not taking my spot.
Yeah. I'm taking my spot.
Right. That ticket cost me $200. You want to put your stuff there? Hand me over a Ben Franklin.
How are you on flying?
I have no problem flying. My father was a pilot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, my father was he flew private airplanes, and he was also certified for twin engine. He was a twin engine, and he also had his instrument license.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, so I flew from.
Well, your dad was like James Bond.
My father was amazing. He did so much stuff. I mean,
boats. He's a pilot now. I didn't know this.
Drag cars. He built a dirt car.
Yeah.
He was a pilot. There wasn't anything the man couldn't do. It was really neat when he was flying because he would take us. We would just sit in the back, and he would go with a friend of his. And what we would do is he would leave from. There was a place, an airport down in Bridgeport, which is like maybe 10 miles down the road. Mm-hmm. We would fly from there down to an island in the middle of the Chesapeake Bay called Tangier, and it had an airport. So we would land at Tangier. We would get out, have a nice crab seafood dinner, get back in the plane, fly from there to Cape May, land at Cape May, then fly from Cape May back to Bridgeport. That was the New Jersey triangle that he used to do all the time. Mm-hmm. We must have made that flight. I don't know. I was with him 10 times at least, but it was a lot of fun. There was one time, how you say there's a near, had a near miss.
A near miss.
Yeah. We're flying, and my friend Kevin was
I would have just shit myself.
My friend Kevin was in the plane. He was with us. So we're flying, and he pokes me, and he looks, and he goes, and my father was practicing the instrument landing. Like they have a hood on, so he wears a hood so he can only see the instruments.
Oh,
he can't see
blinders.
Outside. Yeah, he's got blinders. So my dad's under the hood. His friend, who's also a pilot, is in the co-pilot seat. And Kevin pokes me, he looks up and he says, is that supposed to be there? I look over, and 200 yards away is another plane. Not a big jet, but another small plane like ours. Mm-hmm. So I tap my dad's friend and I go, is that supposed to be like that? And he looks over and he goes, holy shit. He grabs the controls, and my dad throws the hood off and looks over, and he kind of dives down and banks to the right and gets out of there. And my dad goes, that's the closest I've ever been to another plane in the air.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy how close it was. If Kevin didn't decide to say, hey, what's that?
Yeah.
Here comes the police. So if Kevin didn't decide to say, I don't even know what would have happened. I don't know if you saw, there's a video of these 2 planes that were going to do skydiving. They were going to do this combined jump.
I did see that.
And the one plane crashed into the other one as they were all jumping out of the plane, and you could see, and nobody got hurt. They all lived.
Yeah, they all had parachutes.
Even the pilots.
It was amazing. I don't know if the pilot was wearing a parachute or he just hitched a ride along.
He had to be wearing a parachute.
Yeah, it must have been, because it was weird.
Because that plane the wing broke off, the tail broke off.
Oh, it exploded in air. It was a fireball in the sky.
Right. And it was the most amazing thing I ever seen, because they were all wearing GoPro cameras. So it was like back in the day when there was like something that would happen at Disneyland, and there was a lot of Japanese tourists there. There was like 700 pictures or 700 different views of this accident from both planes, from all these different cameras. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen.
I don't mean to laugh, but you said the Japanese tourists. You're familiar with Geno's and Pat Steaks?
Yes.
Okay. When I was
Am
working,
I familiar?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like cheesesteak capital of the world is 9th and Passyunk Avenue in Philadelphia.
Exactly.
Well, I was standing in line in Geno's a few years ago, and I was like, "Oh, I need a cheesesteak." It's it was during lunch hour, and I'm standing in line, and there's a bunch of Japanese tourists in front of me. And for people around the country that have never dined at Geno's or Pat Steak, there is a ritual in ordering, and basically it consists of you're going to make eye contact with the teller. He's going to nod his head upwards, meaning that he sees you. And you have to have your shit ready to go, and you say, "I'll have a cheesesteak with whiz."
Well, no.
Steak with whiz is what you're going to say, which means you want fried onions and you want whiz cheese.
So you don't even know. That's not true.
Go ahead.
It's a whiz with.
Right.
Whiz with.
Right.
Or
Whiz with.
American with. I always get a mushroom American
or whiz, which is the cheese whiz.
It's a whiz with.
Right.
Whiz with onions.
Right.
Or whiz without.
Exactly.
And if you don't know how to do it, they kick you right out of line.
Yeah,
and send
they'll
you
just
back.
go right to the next guy.
Yeah, they're like, okay, back of the line. Try it again.
Yeah. So I'm standing in line behind these Japanese tourists, and I mean, there's like 9 of them, and it was like stereotypical. They all had like cameras around their necks, and the whole way up there, they're all speaking Japanese. It's going back and forth. So they get to the teller window, and the guy does the nod, and then the woman that can speak English says, "Do you have hot dogs here?" And he just goes, "Next." And that was me, and I just went like right up, and I got my steak. I'm like,
well, same thing happened to me. I'm standing in line, and the lady's sitting there, and she walks up. She goes, "I'll have an Italian hoagie." Next.
Yeah.
Well, we started going there as soon as I could drive. We would drive across the river.
Oh, yeah, because you might need a cheesesteak at 3 a.m.
It was the best.
24/7, you're going to get a cheesesteak.
It was the best. So we drove over, and you knew we were there. You asked me if I knew where it was. I was there so much, I knew the guys' names.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy, when we first started going over there, who worked cheese fries, was Johnny. Johnny always worked cheese fries. So I'd walk up, I go, "Hey, Johnny, can I get a cheese fry and a Pepsi?" "Yeah, okay." Get a soda and a cheese fry, and then we would go get our sandwiches, and we would sit there and eat. Well, after, 7 or 8 years, Johnny got moved over to the steak line. He was promoted to the steak line.
They trust him with the beef.
So he's over there. He's working the cash register. He was the guy that lifted his head up, and you told him what was going on. So I went over there, and I ordered 2 sandwiches. And I don't know if something happened. There was a dust-up about something. I forget what it was. I don't even know what it was. And he kind of made a smart-ass remark to me. And I said, "Hey, don't you give me no shit, Johnny. I remember you when you were in cheese fries." And, and all the guys that are working the grill, they're like, "Cheese fries. Cheese fries." But after that, we went, to be honest with you, I'm a Geno's guy.
Yeah, I like Geno's better.
The place is a little cleaner. The sandwiches are a little less greasier.
Well, not only that, I always liked that they supported firemen, police officers.
Yes.
And then after 9/11, they donated something like 72 hours of receipts to the 9/11 Victims Fund after that happened.
Yeah, that guy was amazing, Geno. And again, I knew Geno.
Mm-hmm.
So
you mean Joey Vento?
Yes, I couldn't think of his name. The one day I go walking up, because I always tried to buy T-shirts from him,
mm-hmm.
and he only would go up to like 2X. And I've always said that if my T-shirt was a movie rating, it would be a child porn snuff film. So there's a lot of X's. So I walk up, and he goes, "Hey." I go, "What?" He goes, "I got a T-shirt for you." And I go, "What size?" He goes, "Your size." And he goes in the back and grabs a T-shirt and throws it to me. I still have it upstairs.
Right.
Yeah. So I have a Geno's T-shirt. He actually got a T-shirt for me, my size. I guess he figured, maybe it's time to get like 6 extra slob. So I'm not a 6 extra slob. But when he saw me, he says, "Hey, I got a T-shirt for you." I go, "Okay." I go, "How much for the T-shirt?" He goes, "Nah, nothing." That was the kind of guy he was.
Yeah.
But if you walked up and didn't speak English, out.
Yeah. Well, that's both places.
Right.
Either or. I mean, it's funny when he opened there, I think in 68 is when he opened. Pat Steaks is the originator of cheesesteaks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he decided, well, I'm going to open up a cheesesteak place. And he opens up right across the street from Pat Steaks. And people were like, "Well, you're crazy. Why are you going to go there? Because Pat Steaks is there." He says, "Well, yeah, everyone's used to going there for a cheesesteak, so now I'm going to sell cheesesteaks there." It's like, that was a hell of attitude to have. It was because most people are, well, I don't want to be there because so-and-so is there, or whatever business you're going to open up.
The thing about the reason I've had my first Geno's cheesesteak was because I went to go to Pat's and the line was so long, and I looked over at Geno's and the line was like half as long.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, shit, let's go get a Geno's steak. And we walked across the street. And I mean, across the street.
You know how they have, here's a great story. My Uncle Bob, because we were from Philadelphia, and Geno's had just opened, pretty much. And they went over there. And you know how they have the awnings over the tables on both sides of the sidewalk? Yeah. So him and his buddies are there. And there's some dude there. He's like a real nebbishy, preppy kind of a guy. And he had one of those monkeys like you see in the Three Stooges with the tail.
Yeah. Like a Reese's monkey.
Or a capuchin, I think they're called, monkey. They have a tail and everything. They're pretty agile. So he's there at Geno's. Here come the cops again. So he's there at Geno's with this monkey. And, of course, all the girls are like, oh, look, a monkey. Well, the monkey got temperamental, and all of a sudden, like, they have those prehensile tails, and it went up and it wrapped around the awning. And now the monkey is hanging from the awning by his tail. And he grabs the owner. He's got him on a leash, of course, so the monkey can't get far. So he's tugging on the monkey, and the monkey got pissed off. And he reached down, hanging by his tail, and he's pulling this guy by the hair. And he had glasses, and Uncle Bob said his glasses were like bobbing. And then the monkey grabbed his glasses, and he snapped them. And all the girls are like horrified, like, oh. Of course, my uncle and his buddies, they're laughing their asses off because this guy, like, I'm going to go to Geno's and pick up some girls with a monkey, but it didn't. His plans went awry. I would love to see that, just to be like a fly on the wall, that visual.
Everybody uses a puppy to get a girl.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm going to use a monkey.
Yeah, puppy's not good enough. I'm going with the capuchin monkey. That's what I'm going to do.
So, all right. So one last Geno's Pat steak story. It was in the winter time. No, I guess it was like around June. It was during the...
Because it was snowing.
No. It was during the NHL playoffs. And
that would be in the June, yeah.
The Philadelphia Flyers were playing the New York Rangers. I don't even know what time, whatever time it was. It was after the game. Mm-hmm. And I decided, hey, let's get a cheesesteak or whatever. So I drive in and I pull up and I get out of the car. I look around and everybody there's got to be 25 guys there with Flyers jerseys on and about 25 guys there with Rangers jerseys on.
This is not good.
So everybody's sitting there. We're getting everybody gets a steak and we're sitting there. So I walk up, I get my steak and I'm putting the ketchup on it and just sitting there eating and talking. And all of a sudden I look around, I go, who says there can't be world peace? We got Flyers fans and Rangers fans enjoying a cheesesteak. If this doesn't say you can't have world peace, I don't know what does. We finish my cheesesteak. I get in the car. I leave. Not even 5 minutes later, a riot breaks out over there.
I remember that story. I didn't know you were there.
Two Flyer fans beat the living shit out of two Rangers fans, put them in a hospital. Mm-hmm. It's on the news. I get home. It's on the news. And I said, holy shit, I guess we can't have world peace.
Yeah. He's like,
yeah. So I was there not 5 minutes after I left, that melee broke out. And I mean, they were rolling around in the streets. It was crazy. It was, of course, it's back when it wasn't that long ago, but everybody had cameras, camera phones. And so there were a lot of video. Same thing.
Fresh footage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good old Passyunk Avenue.
Yeah, well, that's one of the nice things about this area is, like Joe said, we have really good food. And we have diners and stuff like that don't close. You can go to the Penrose Diner or Pat Steaks or all these other places. They're open 24 hours. I guess it's the same way in New York. I don't know what it's like in other areas.
I've been, with my last job, I was at a couple of restaurants in New York that are landmarks. Like I was in the deli where they filmed the orgasm scene for When Harry Met Sally. So, and they have that table, like,
right.
Pretty much it's enshrined. Like, hey,
okay.
This is it. This is the one. There's another famous deli that we were at. So I've been in New York a few times. That was pretty cool. Vegas, of course.
Right.
Vegas is Vegas.
I've never been to Vegas. I want to go.
Yeah, you should go to Vegas.
I want to go.
Vegas is cool. The rest of the state, not so much.
I want to go play in a poker tournament.
Yeah. You ever been in a rock quarry?
Yes.
Well, then you've been in Nevada.
Okay.
Outside of Vegas, that was pretty much it. I was like,
that's about it.
This is pretty grim. It's like a lunar landing. kind of a feel to it. It was like, ooh. I went there with my one boss, and he's like, I wanted to see cactus. And the bus driver was like, oh, cactus? This is the high desert. You're not going to see any of that here. You got to go to Arizona if you want to see that. You got to go to the Painted Desert. And like, he was all excited. I know it was nothing. It was like, Vegas is awesome, though. That's something to see.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm a big poker player. Mm-hmm. So I always wanted to go to Vegas and sit down with real poker players and play in a tournament in a Vegas casino. Now, I'm one of those crazy nuts that will actually sit down and watch a poker tournament. And there's an app that you can get on your phone. It's called Poker Go. And I forget how much it costs, but
$1.6 million.
No, it's an app you can, and what you do, you pay and you can go watch all these tournaments. There's a way to watch all these crazy tournaments. So they give you one day. So they have the high roller tournament that was going on. It's a $300,000 buy-in. So you buy in for $300,000. The winner gets $6 million. 57 of the best poker players in the world sign up for this. Well, 56. The 57th is Kevin Hart, the comedian. Mm-hmm. So he's in there playing. He ponied up $300,000, and he's in there playing with these guys. And he made it to day two. He made it all the way through to day two. I was shocked. He was a really good poker player, but he was a hoot to watch play. I mean, never shut up, running his mouth the whole time.
Have you ever been to Atlantic City for?
Of course I have.
Well, I don't know. I'm asking because I know you used to play here in the area with Ace Queen Pro and everything. And
I started playing online, and my friend Mark, he says, at the Taj Mahal they have a poker tournament at like 6:30. You want to go play? I go, what's the buy-in? He goes, $65. I'm like, let's go. So we drive down all the way down. So we go into the Taj Mahal, which is, if you're a poker fan, when they shot Rounders, the movie Rounders, mm-hmm. which is about poker, they shot a lot of it at the Taj Mahal in that poker room. So we go in there, and the first tournament I ever play in, I sit down, and, I'm new. So I've never played with real cards before. Everything I played was online. So I'm sitting there playing.
Did you have any social anxiety?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. But the funny thing was that I was playing and I was kind of making mistakes, but I was sucking out. I was catching cards that I shouldn't have not won the hand, and I won. And these guys were like yelling at me when I was making these mistakes. The guy's like, I can't believe you called with that.
Haters going to hate.
Haters are going to hate. So about an hour and a half into the tournament, I'm still playing and I'm watching things. And I go, man, I said, those guys are really picking on me. And the guy next to me, which is an older guy, he goes, yeah. You know where they're all at now? I go, no. He goes, you knocked them all out. They're all over there playing in the 2-4. They're over there playing 2-4 no limit because you knocked them out of the tournament. He says, you're doing fine. But I was nervous. So I make it to I forget, there was 300 and some people in this tournament. We make it to the final 3 tables. And I have a pretty good amount of chips. And I'm thinking to myself, don't get involved with big chip stacks. Get involved with small chips. Don't do it. So I'm like, okay. So we come back, comes around. That one guy goes all in. Another guy looks at his cards. He looks down at his cards and he goes, I'm all in. So he's got me covered, mm-hmm. or almost as many chips as I have. So I was like, well, if I don't have aces, I'm not calling. I look down, I got 1 ace. I'm like, what are the chances? I look at the second card, got another ace. So I got best starting hand in poker.
Right.
So I said, I'm all in. So everybody's like, what? So they all fold. And one guy throws up jacks. The other guy he throws up kings and I throw up aces. The guy next to me goes, God, I can't believe it. He's, I can't believe you have aces. It's Texas Hold'em, so you get 3 community cards. They turn it over. The first card I see is a king. So the guy knocks me out of the tournament. I think he had 2 more 100 chips and 200 chips more than I did.
Right.
So he knocks me out of the tournament. So I went out 30th in that tournament. It was probably the most fun I've ever had playing poker. It was the very first time I went and played in a poker tournament. I've played since then. I've actually got knocked out in the very first hand of a tournament.
Wow.
I was playing I went down with my buddy Kevin. We were talking strategy because it's an hour and a half down to the shore from here. So I said, look, don't get in any big hands. And, it's a long tournament. You can't win a tournament on the first hand, blah, blah. We go down there. So I look and it folds around to me and I have pocket 2s. So I make a raise. Another guy calls. The flop comes, they throw the first 3 cards out and there's a 2. So that's a very strong hand. So 2 guys check. I make a good sized bet. And the guy raises me. I was like, ugh. So I'm like, so I just call. So the next card comes. The guy looks and he goes, I'm all in. So I look at the board and I'm trying to put him on a hand. I said, the only hand I can't beat is ace 5. And I said, it doesn't make sense that he would have that in the spot that he was.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, maybe he's got 2 pair and he's trying to scare me off. So I go, well, I hope you don't have ace 5. I call. So then he he turns over ace 5. So now I have 3 of a kind and he has ace 5. And I said, dealer, please pair the board. Well, he didn't. When I got up out of there, I went to go find Kevin. Kevin goes, where you sitting? I go, out in the casino, I'm out. He goes, what? He goes, what happened? I said, set over straight. He goes, oh, I can't believe. He says, what happened to play slow? I go, yeah, that went out the window.
You got all swept up in the emotion.
So the thing is, I always look at it when I go to play poker. I can never do worse. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like a
There's police sirens all over the place tonight. So I always say I can never do worse than I did that one tournament. I went out on the very first hand. So it's just one of those things. But
when's the last time you played it seriously like you used to? It's been years, right?
No, about a year. About a year.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I thought once you discovered the magic of podcasting,
no, I still played when we
thought that nit that in the bud.
I don't know. I just, for me right now, I can't handle the bad beats in poker.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that has to do with the Jimmy, because
he put some bad mojo on you.
I don't know. Whenever we go against him, like I'll have like a king and a jack, and he'll have like a king and a 9, and he'll hit a 9, and then like he'll knock me out or something like that.
Jimmy.
And I just want to reach across I just want to look at him and go, nice hand. Spit in his face. So it's one of those things.
It's a family affair.
Well, I mean, anywhere. If I'm sitting there and you get you flop a flush or something,
it could be a Shea Robert. You'll do it.
Calls and he hits that one miracle card he needs on the river, and he wins a big pot, and you're like, nice hand.
A miracle card.
Yeah, it's like he's got 2 cards.
Angels singing, it descends from heaven, shrouded in blue light.
There's 2 cards in the deck that'll make his hand a winner. All right, every other card in the deck, I'll win the hand. Sure enough, that one of those cards come up, and you're like, nice hand. I'll be in the bar.
You know, right now Jimmy's gloating as he's listening to this. He's like, oh, big, that Cheshire cat grin of his.
But I can't, like I said, it's just one of those things where I just can't, it really started to bother me. It would really start to affect me.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped playing for a while, and then I'll go back and play again.
Had to lay low.
Yeah, every once in a while you got to take a break. Here's a topic from the Jimmy, and this is something that I've always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you've kind of said,
well, tell your story.
I'm going to tell my stories because
I thought the same thing you did,
right?
And it's just weird that this story comes up.
So the Jimmy was going to a bachelor party, and when you're our age, going to the strip clubs now, it's just not the thing. You're just stupid to go to a strip club now because they're babies.
Mm-hmm.
I have daughters that are older than some of these strippers.
It's kind of skeevy.
It is. It's skeevy. So you just don't go to the strip clubs anymore. So what they were going to do was they got tickets to go to the Phillies game, but they found this place in Philadelphia where you can go and get a straight razor shave. You can get a haircut and like a hot lathered, hot towel, straight razor shave. You can't get these in New Jersey. I tried. I used to go, hey, and what happened was they said that because of blood-borne diseases.
Thanks to the HIV and the
HIV
and the Hep C.
Right. They can't do that anymore. So they don't do it in New Jersey. And I tried to find a place.
That's a few states now, I found out.
Okay. So this is what happens. The Jimmy calls.
It's the Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, what do you do? It's the Jimmy.
So I pick it up and he goes, hey, I can't find this place. I need you to Google. Get on the Google. All right. What do you need? The King of Beer. All right. So I Google the King of Beer in Philadelphia and I don't see anything. I'm like, I got beer. He goes, not beer, beard. Beard. Okay. King of Beard. It's like King of Beard. Nothing. So I look and I go, King of Shave? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, all right. Whatever. King of Shave. I said, okay. So it's in Center City. So I go.
Is Jimmy aware that you can get Google on your phone?
Yeah, he couldn't find it. I don't know what it is with me. I can't find it. Well, first of all, it's the place is the King of Shave, and he's doing the King of Beard. Right, so that's probably one of his things, and he's looking for the King of Beard. Well, when I don't see King of Beard and I see King of Shave, I'm thinking, it's close, right? So I check out the website, and it's King of Shave. It's an old school barbershop. It's over in 12th and Pine.
Okay.
All right. And you go over there, you can get a nice hot towel, hot lather, straight razor shave, and haircut. And I'll tell you what, the prices are reasonable.
Is that part of the gayborhood? That's dangerously close to the gayborhood.
It is on the fringe of the gayborhood. It is on the fringe of the gayborhood.
You might see the bitter Asian man there.
The bitter Asian man? You think he's over there getting a...
Well, he was dancing in that club, so...
Yeah, that was a 12th in... that was a 12th in...
Exactly.
That was only 2 blocks away.
Exactly. That's dangerously close to the gayborhood. Okay. You might see rainbow signposts.
So let me ask you this question. Have you ever had a straight razor shave before?
No, I have not, but I've often thought that would be an awesome thing to do.
Right. So let me ask you this question. $38. Is that worth $30? Would you pay $38 to have a straight razor shave?
Well, as our friend Larry would say, here's the thing. And it's funny that you brought this up because what you have here is fucking New Jersey. You can't get a shave anymore at a barber. But I found out that that's not true. You can get a shave, but what they use in New Jersey because of the aforementioned bloodborne pathogens is they have to use a shavette, which has a removable blade, and then they have to sterilize the blade in an autoclave and barbicide. And it's weird that this story came up because last week in the break room, a buddy of mine goes to a place in Cherry Hill and he does this. Mm-hmm. He also shaves himself with a straight edge razor.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't know it. That's an art because the way that is done, do you know how to do it?
No.
Well, here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
What you have to do, according to him, is you got to pull everything as tight as you possibly can. And you shave down.
Right.
Then you're shaving up.
Right.
Then you're shaving. So you're shaving the same part of your face in all 4 directions. And then you move on to the next section of skin.
Right.
So it takes a while to do that. So you can do it in New Jersey, but they're just not using a straight edge razor. You can buy one yourself. He said that they are so sharp that he laid himself wide open one day, but he didn't even feel it.
Yeah.
And it happened so fast. It was like he was shaving and he was a little tired. I mean, he had done it for a while, but what happens when it's like anything else, when you get comfortable doing something, you get complacent.
Right.
And when you get complacent, you get sloppy. And when you get sloppy, you have an accident. He said he made a stroke, looked away from the mirror to rinse off the blade, came back, and he said it looked like he got his red wings because his whole face was just... He cut right under here, and it's just like, he said, dude, I look like I was in a fucking vampire movie. The blood just ran everywhere. So you have to be really, really careful. But he did say it is the best shave. I have to shave every day.
Well, you can see that I don't.
You always had a beard as long as I know you. I have to shave every day, and I do shave every day, whether I'm working or not. He said a straight edge shave is so close you could actually skip a day.
Yeah.
You know, that's how close you're going to get.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing with me is I'm not supposed to use a razor.
Oh, you're on Coumadin.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you might die in the chair.
I could die in the chair. Next thing you know.
I feel like one of those horrible mob pictures from the 30s.
Was it in The Godfather, one of the Godfather movies where the guy comes in and he takes over the razor and cuts the guy? Or no, it was the barber cuts. Was that in The Untouchables? Or it's one of those movies. It's one of the I can see the scene. It wasn't The Godfather, right?
Because I'm the king of The Godfather.
It was Al Capone. He was sitting in a chair and the guy was shaving Al Capone and he cut him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was oh, I can't believe I just got him. So sorry. So yeah,
not as sorry as you're going to be.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, do I do this? Do I try to go have this service done? Now they do because. Dudes, now we're getting into the whole thing.
Metrosexuals.
We're getting metrosexuals. Now everybody's wearing a romper and man buns and
douche knots.
Right. So they're doing. You get the color in your hair and everything now. So you're kind of doing that same thing and doing permanents where they perm your hair. So I don't know, but I see what you're saying, and I can't remember. Last time I saw a guy in a place to cut my hair. It's all women.
This place in Cherry Hill that my buddy at work goes to, he said, and I want to go there one day with him. He wants to take me there. It's an old-fashioned barbershop.
Yeah, well, that's what King
when
and
you
Shave
go
is.
there, and he says, yeah, there's room in the back. There's all like Playboy magazines in there, just like it used to be. I remember that when I was a kid. When my dad took us to get a haircut at a barber shop, there were Playboy magazines in the rack. I mean, we couldn't read them. Obviously, my dad was there, and the barber would, get you away from that.
Right.
And then there's a refrigerator in the back. There's beer.
Yeah, we used to go hang there.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, it was like a hangout. You know, it's great. It's like where you could go and be a dude.
Right. So this place, the King of Shave, I mean, just the guy, the first guy, his name is Diego Rivera.
Guilty. No.
Diego Rivera. He's a licensed barber, born in the city of La Plata in the capital
Argentina.
of Buenos Aires, Argentina. He's got the white shirt, the black vest.
He's got it all going on. Right.
And you got Gene Gallagher, Ivan Zalela. These are barbers. They're barber names.
Mm-hmm.
I for some reason, I just want to go. I want to go to this place.
If you go to it, yeah, I would go because these guys probably know what they're doing and you don't have to worry about getting cut.
Yeah.
But you being on blood thinners, you better bring a styptic pencil with you.
Hey.
And a shitload of ace bandages just in case.
Hey, Diego, do me a favor.
Just to let you know.
Don't cut me. All right? Because if not, we're going to have to. You better get a big towel.
I've often wanted to get a shave like that.
Yeah, guys. I mean, we're guys. We want to do stuff like this. I mean, they're taking it away from us.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to go and get a shave, and you feel like you should be able to go in there.
Well, it's like an indulgence. You're treating yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, women do it all the time. When they go to their, like, the spas and all that stuff, it's like... See, that's the thing, like, exactly what you're saying, because for some reason, it became okay for women to be able to do that, but for guys not to indulge themselves. Like, no one bats an eye when they say, oh, I'm going to the... When a woman says, I'm going to the spa, and I'm going to have...
A massage.
Right, I'm going to have this done, I'm going to have the face peel and all this, and, I deserve this, I work hard. And I'm not saying that's not true, but for some reason, when the guy says that, suddenly it's like...
Well,
aren't you selfish?
Well, when guys usually go for a massage.
No, I'm not talking about a massage. I'm talking about an indulgence.
Okay, yeah.
I'm talking about...
You know who does go for massages?
It's the Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, what do you do? What do you do? It's the...
He does. He has a place where he goes and gets a massage. Yeah.
Very special. Happy ending for you, Mr. Jimmy.
See, here's the thing. I got to tell you that if I went to these massage... I mean...
I've never had a massage.
Well, when I had when I first screwed up my back, one of the things that there was is that they send you to a massage place, and they go in there and they're working on your back and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, it's unbelievable how good that feels. Sorry. So then they say, okay, roll over, and I'm like,
you got a crane?
I'm like, no, no, I'm not rolling over. Sorry, I can't. No, it's okay. Roll over. No, I'm not rolling over.
Yeah, pass. Just one of those tables with the face hole.
Do me a favor. Yeah, exactly. Do me a favor. Take some duct tape and put it like on that little tuft of hair that's just above my ass and below my back, and rip that out of there, and then I might be able to roll over. I might be able to roll over. So
that's when you need the Pac-Man sound effect. Is like play Velcro and then that back to back. All right, I'm rolling over now.
Okay, I can do that now.
Who would have thought we would need a Velcro sound effect?
Yeah, exactly. You need something like that where it would be like
rolling over.
I can roll over now.
Rolling over now.
I want to do the shave.
Yeah, sounds neat.
It does.
That was a whole ritual Genghis said back in the day when if you were in a wedding party, like when you were my best man,
right?
The whole wedding party would go out like the day of,
yeah,
and that's how it started back in Philly anyway. You went to the barber, you got a shave, and then you got ready, and then the drinking commenced, and then the ceremony, and more drinking, followed by dancing, and then more drinking, and
there you go. The newest thing that I saw, I don't know if you would do this or not. I'm not a big smoker, and I'm not a big vapor either.
Nope. I wouldn't do it.
And so the one thing that they have out now, it's called Vitamin Vape. All right, so you have a vape pen, and it's not coming up. There it goes. So you have a vape pen, And of course, the picture that they have for this
It's a hot chick
in
yoga pants.
Right. I mean, skin tight, black, doing a thing. And she's got this little vape pen and it says vitamin B12 or B12. So what happens is you can take and buy these vape pens.
So she's going to be pissing bright yellow.
I guess.
Well, you'll understand later on. I heard the Three is Comedy podcast. You didn't.
Oh. All right. So what you do is you take and you vape this pen and it gives you your vitamin B. What happened to the pills? Why can't you just take a pill?
That's not good. Or just eat a burger.
Or what else is good for B12 or something? Well,
and
we used to get a shot.
Protein, basically. Eggs, very high in vitamin Bs.
So you know who I thought of, don't you, right away?
Oh, okay. I know who you thought of.
Dumbass Luke. Dumbass Luke could be actually...
Now, you went out of your way to find this story.
As soon as I saw it, I'm thinking to myself... I mean, if you're going to vape, I guess this is the way to do it.
Now, what are they doing there? You're actually smoking
B12.
Like water with B12 added to it? Or?
Yeah, I guess you're drawing it into your lungs. Now, I know a lot of people that vape. I mean, our friend Emily Brokop, she was a vapor. I don't know if you're allowed to do that now because she just had the little one. Mm-hmm. Mindy, she's a vapor. Mm-hmm. She does that too. I mean, it's better for you than smoking. I understand that. But the way they're promoting this whole thing, it's like, they're making it cool again. Oh, look at this. It's healthy. See, now Mindy just says you can vape THC, which is this stuff from they get you high from marijuana.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's the problem because there's two different systems of vape. There's a closed system and an open system, but that's a whole other discussion.
Right now, Emily's in the chat, and she just says that there's a vape subculture that has a number of assholes that ruin it for everybody. They have cloud competitions where they do the rings and stuff like that. I guess
a lot of hookah parlors have opened up.
So, I mean, and then see, Emily, she was a smoker, but now she's vaping got her to quit. So I guess it's good.
It's a good way to ease you off of smoking.
I got to tell you a story. I'm cutting the cord. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. It's been
You're going off the grid.
I'm done with TV. I'm not paying for cable anymore. I'm like Joe.
So you're going to be at my house every Sunday watching The Walking Dead?
No, I will not do that.
Because Joe gets 7 channels and that's it because he refuses to pay for cable.
Well, I listen to so many podcasts, all right? And there's only a few shows that I watch that I want to watch on it, but I pay for...
Well, you mean that you're dedicated to.
Right. So I have Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. Amazon Prime, they have their own... Where there's shows for Amazon Prime, you can watch TV shows and all that. I have Netflix. So there's a bunch of shows you can watch there. I have, what's the other one? Hulu that I pay for. So I pay for all that. And I pay $90 a month for cable. So I looked at my cable bill today and I'm thinking to myself,
You're paying a shitload of money for entertainment.
Right. And I'm not watching any of it. So the guy called me today and he says, sir, can you pay us $90 for TV? And I'm like, or we're going to shut your TV. I guess I was a month behind. If you go over 1 month behind, well, forget that. They cut it. So I was like, listen, all right, I'm going to pay this. All right. I want you to disconnect my TV. I don't want it anymore. And the guy goes, what? I go, I'm going to pay this and then shut off my service. Well, can I ask why? I said, yeah, it's $90. I barely watch it. I said, I pay for Netflix.
It's costing you $3 a day.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot of money.
It is. I could pay for that pays for my whole podcasting nut, that $90. Mm-hmm. That pays for my hosting, for the audio files. It pays for the hosting for the website. It pays for the things that the different things I use for social media. That pays for everything. And I don't need it. So if I want to watch something, I go watch something on Netflix or, they've got new shows on that. They've got new shows on Amazon Prime. They have Hulu. I mean, you can go... Jerry from Bad Cop turned me on to something for $25 a month. I can have Sling, and that gives you the local channels.
There's a lot of guys I work with that are big on Sling.
Or I could just go over to Radio Shack for $24 and buy a digital antenna, put it on there, and get 3, 6, and 10, and watch the shows here. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I wouldn't have is the capability of recording shows. Which I'm not going to lie, that's going to sting a little bit because that's what I used to do. Is I used to
record anything.
See, I record everything. For the simple fact is
that you're way more.
I do watch. I get into shows.
Yeah, I mean you have more time than I do. Also,
see, Mindy says trade passcodes and share your passcodes. So okay, so maybe you could have Netflix,
and
I would have Hulu,
right?
And then I give you my code, and you pay for
which
Hulu.
Goes on in the break room at work all the time.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, all the time.
Huh?
Sports, like when football season breaks out, like you were talking about Sling,
right?
You know, who's got a Sling account? Like they'll get that guy, like, yo, call the break room, and then we need your password, and next thing you know, you're watching a big playoff game because
there you go,
or whatever sports account they have. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, you have to be smart.
So anyhow, I got rid of them.
Adios,
amigos.
Yeah, you don't need that shit. $90 is a lot.
It is.
It's outrageous.
And to be honest with you, I got to tell you, there's I don't know how many channels there are. There's like a Brazilian channels, and there's sometimes I look and I'm like, there's nothing to watch. Let me pick 30 channels.
We used to joke about it back in the day. All I really needed was like the Hitler channel. Because, like, what's better than watching a documentary about World War II and Hitler?
There you go.
You know, I mean, that's all guys want to watch is stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, we like expanded it. Says, yeah, well, you want to make a package. It'd be the titty channel, the Hitler channel, and the football channel. That's all you need.
Boobs, balls, and dictators.
Yeah, it's just like ruthless dictators that got conquered. You know, titties and football. And everything's right in the world. That's all guys need.
That's all we need. But to be honest with
you, it's not a Sunday without Hitler.
Okay.
You're surfing the TV and like, oh, Hitler. And next thing you know, you're watching a documentary about how Hitler got killed.
You're watching a show about the history
World War
of
II. Exactly, yeah.
And you're not rooting. We're just got to say that we're not rooting for Hitler. You're not rooting for Hitler.
It just became like Hitler's on. Because it's always it's not a Sunday without Hitler. There's always a documentary about Hitler on.
On Sunday?
Always.
Okay.
Just check it out.
I will look into that.
Did you see, on the same subject, because I know you've been busy, Pink tagged Karen. I still call her Pink because back in the day at DVK, she tagged us in that story about radio.
Right.
And because here in Philly.
Hold on 1 second.
Back in the day at DBK.
Which is the college radio station that we all started at.
Right. She tagged us in a story how the oldies station here in Philly has laid off a bunch of quite popular disc jockeys and they're laying people off. And
why do they need disc jockeys anymore? What do they actually do?
Well, it's going on. It's a multi-layered thing. It goes on to what you said with the availability of the technology. You can pick and choose what you want, you know, and how things have changed and everything.
Well, let's just say I'm an old guy, all right, and I still listen to the oldies radio, and I still have the drug dealer phone that's just the regular old flip phone that doesn't get internet, and I'm listening to radio. All right, the only thing that disc jockeys are an annoyance. They come in, they announce you play 3 songs, they come on and they just tell you the 3 songs that they just played.
Now they are because of
they always used to be that way.
Back in the day when AOR radio was big, when we were really young, because
a couple of stations. Oldie stations
all these stations that Pink and I had this big discussion last night on Facebook. And did you ever wonder why they stopped playing 50s oldies music? Like music from the 1950s, like Bill Haley and the Comets.
Probably because they were like 2 minutes long. You had to play like a Brazilian songs for an hour.
No, because think about it. The people that came of age during that time are now in their
70s.
Late 70s going into their 80s.
Yes.
So they're dead as far as advertisers are concerned. They don't want to, because those people aren't buying anything.
Excuse me? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
No, it's absolutely true. What are they buying?
They're buying, I'll tell you what they're buying. Yeah. They're buying iPhones, iPads.
I'm talking about people in their 80s and 90s.
My mom was 70.
Your mom is the exception. That's anecdotal.
She's 76. Well, you asked, so I'm telling you.
Okay, but that's anecdotal.
I don't care if it's rock. I don't care if it's Yankee Doodle. It's the same. I think they're missing a market there, but whatever. Okay, continue. So they're
basically what it was is people that are in their 70s and 80s are on fixed incomes. They're not buying new Cadillacs or Lincolns or cars. They're not going to buy
no Escalades.
Escalades or Crebits are not that good because they become Crebit ghosts. They become they're not viable. It's not a viable revenue stream. And now the thing is that's happening is people that are coming 60s music is falling that way too, because my uncle was a hippie back in the day. Right. He's 67 now.
Okay.
So he's starting to pass over into that like area where advertisers aren't interested in pursuing. I mean, what are you going to attract? Preparation H and like Coumadin customers? I mean, that's basically all you're going to get.
Acid reflux.
I mean, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So the advertising dollars is getting smaller and smaller to pursue. Dovetail that in with what you have always said, with the technology being there for younger people to pick and choose what they want to listen to.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Radio's in real trouble. The other thing is with radio corporate side, where big companies decided to get into this stuff. Radio was a different animal than it was 35 years ago when you and I became interested in it, because it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
It was the talent. The disc jockey, for the most part, in a major market, made it fun, made you want to be a disc jockey.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot of radio stations don't even have disc jockeys anymore. It's all automated. They got a guy in the engineering booth playing the commercials.
Got a board op that's
that's it.
Making like $9 an hour.
And truth be told, there's probably a computer in there doing all that.
You got a voiceover guy that's doing, bumpers. And
usually Ben O'Hurley, like for Ben here in Philadelphia.
And stuff like that. So let's piggyback that onto something else. All right, so now what happens is radio's dying. And what's coming up? What's the new and up and coming thing?
Well, you have iPods. I mean, podcasts, obviously, and you have internet, and you have internet radio, and you have satellite radio.
Okay, so you have all that stuff going on, and plus you have Spotify, and you have Apple Music.
Napster kind of kicked the door open,
right? So for $15 a month, you can have any song that's on
the planet.
Any song, you can download it to your thing. You can make a playlist. You can do it for $15 a month. I mean, it's ridiculous. And for me, $15 a month. Not only do I get it, I have 6 people in my family. So my children, they all have the same thing. They love it. So, I mean, for $15 a month, you can't beat it.
It's like a sore dick.
It's like
you can't beat it.
It's like a limp dick. You can't beat it. So now you have that music that's taken care of. So you don't have to listen to music anymore. All right. So now the only other thing that really is carrying any weight is sports talk. And the problem I have with sports talk is, here's what happens. Now, all right, so we're in Philadelphia, and the team that our team is the Philadelphia Eagles. So now the NFL tries to keep content going all year round, football all year round. They have all these things spaced out, the draft. And,
well, it's like Joe said, they turn it into a show. So now they have the draft, and now players are going what's called an OTA, which is some team activity, organized team activity. It's voluntary. They don't have to go. All right, so the Philadelphia Eagles had their OTAs. And the one defensive player for the Philadelphia Eagles, whose name is Fletcher Cox, who last year he got a $125 million contract. All right, so it's a voluntary thing. So he doesn't show up. So now, all week long on the sports talk, this is all we got to hear. What do you think? Do you think Fletcher Cox? You think Fletcher Cox should show up? I mean, he's a team leader. He's a team leader, and why wouldn't he show up? I mean, he's got younger kids to coach up and all this other stuff. It's voluntary. He missed the first one. He's there now. But all week long, I hear this nonsense of what's going on. The Sixers, they get up. I forget what pick they have in the draft. So now one of the best players, the father's an asshole. Okay, he's one of those fathers that was always in the coach's ear. How my kid's not playing enough. So they don't want to. They might not pick this kid. Not because he's a good. Because the father's a prick.
Because the father's a prick. It was like when Eric Lindros was here as a Philadelphia Flyer.
Concussion boy.
His parents were always in the ear.
Proud to say that my curse is still holding up after 20. I levied that curse against the Flyers 20 years ago. 20 years going strong. When Eric Lindros drops dead, I'll lift the curse. So.
Yeah, but the parents were always. It was everything. Their parents were I want to say, I can't think of a word here. The parents are the...
Quintessential?
No. Who's the guy that gets the contract? The agent, for Christ's sake. God, my mind. I got a fat tongue, fat lazy tongue, and a mind like...
Sieve brain, like you said last week.
The parents were the agents, and it drove them. So they was drove.
It's like Mama McNabb back in the day.
Exactly the same damn thing. So now, are you going to put up with this for the team, or you just why even bother? Why even have that guy on your team? Is he that good that you got to put up with this?
It's a distraction.
Exactly. So that's what sports radio talk is. It's after you listen to it for 15 minutes, you know what's going on, you formed your own opinion, and you move on.
I might be wrong. I'm sorry. But in my opinion, I think the only commercial radio stations that can still garner big advertising dollars is talk radio, whether it's sports or conservative talk or liberal, whatever, and probably country music urban hip hop.
That's true too.
But I think everything else is pretty much they're hurting for advertisers.
Yeah, because they're doing the same thing. So now let's bring in podcasting. So now all of a sudden you can podcast, and what we're doing right now, and anybody can do it because think about it. You're on a $65 microphone. I'm on a $95 microphone. We've got a $300 mixer.
And I got a voice.
And
a voice on the air. I have a horrible radio voice.
So, and we're actually, and here you are, a sieve-brained, fat, lazy-tongued guy from South Jersey with an accent, and his buddy can now go worldwide. We're worldwide. Our biggest downloads are from the United States. The second biggest downloads right now are from the United Kingdom.
They bumped out France?
They bumped out France and Germany.
Wow, France, you got to pick up.
So we have listeners in France and Germany. I don't know why. I have no idea. But we can go worldwide with this, and we're in my basement. Okay? So now all of a sudden, now the podcasters, the radio people, now they're wading in the podcasters. And they started calling them procasters, and I want to throw up in my fucking mouth. Because now before, when we were podcasting, they're like, oh, don't worry about them. They're just podcasters. Oh, look at them. They have a nice little podcast over there. Oh, how cute, their podcast. Now they're wading in, and they're trying to drive the advertising dollars. And now
I was just going to say that the dynamic will shift when the advertisers start orienting toward podcasters and away from mainstream radio. Or terrestrial radio, I should say.
Yes.
That's when they'll like, whoa.
And meanwhile, they come in, they have, basically they have all this superior equipment. They have a marketing team. They have all this other stuff that, people that can work on it, engineers, sound engineers, all this other stuff that they can do. They're backing. Who's doing this? You and I. All right. It's you and if we do all the work. We do everything.
And yeah, it's all, any podcaster is doing this because they love it. It's a passion.
Right. And that's why I get a hair at my ass when I watch a podcaster attack another podcaster for...
When it's not you?
I usually attack the attacker. I usually
Notice he said, usually.
Yeah, there's a couple of times I have not, and I went on the offensive. I'm not going to lie.
Warpath John.
Hang on one second.
We're going to fart.
Emily says, we're teaching people how to speak English. Jeez, I hope not.
Not by John.
Could you see this French guy? Now he learns English and he speaks with my fat, lazy-tongued South Jersey accent.
He's using the word band for band.
Yeah, over in America, they've got the Muslim band. We're in a Muslim band. We're traveling all over the land.
You said something before that got by me on the podcast. I forget.
How did that ever happen?
It got by me. Every once in a while, you'll get one by the goalie.
I get one on the outside corner.
But I was listening back to it. I was like, oh, what an opening. How did I let that one go? I don't know what was happening. I don't know where my mind was. I apologize.
Okay, do you remember what it was?
No, I don't. But I just remember thinking like, oh, my God, how did I get that go? It got right by me.
Well, the other thing is when we do this podcast is I'll start to do a story, and in my mind I've already have the joke planned and everything.
And I fuck it up.
You fuck it up. You come plowing in
with logic.
Well, I don't know. You just plow in, and then whatever happens, I forget it. And then when I'm listening back, I'm like, damn,
fucking Deuce.
I was supposed to. I missed this. I missed that. I forgot this joke. But you know one thing we haven't talked about?
Nope.
The Hush Your Face Network.
That's right.
Because now we have 8 shows. Do you know them all?
I think so.
Let's see how you do.
3 is comedy.
1.
Brand X, of course.
2.
The Nerd of Wells.
3.
Horrible Gamers.
4.
Horribly Awkward.
5.
Rob and Slim. 6. Rob's Random Ramblings.
7.
The Tavern Podcast.
Look at you. Look at you.
Fuck with me?
You think I didn't know?
Who are you to fight? And I just drank more than a pint of beer.
a pint and 9 ounces from what I remember.
Goddamn right, 750
Exactly.
milliliters.
That's right.
Motherfucker.
So, if you want to, you like this show, go over and check those guys out. We would appreciate it. And if you can support the Hush Your Face Network, we're very proud to be part of that network.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Rocky to put one out from the tavern. They go about 2.5 weeks or so, it seems, on average turnaround.
I'm not lying. I got into the show, and then he stopped putting them out. But he's still working the network.
He's a mastermind behind the
he's still
behind the scenes.
He's still pushing our shows out to social media, and really, really appreciate that. And I feel that's part of our success and our growing numbers.
Did you hear? Talk about a shout out. Daniel Repolds, not the current show. Did you hear the last show about embarrassing shit experiences, like going to the bathroom and like you have like all of a sudden like you have to go and you have to go. I was driving home listening to that like last week. I was like, tears were streaming down my. Him and Courtney were talking about it. Tears were streaming down my face.
Dude, when I first started with the show, the Off in the Weeds podcast, I call that the Poo Haiku, where you have a pants shitting story or near miss, and you have to do it in 3 phrases.
Oh, I got a great story about that at work, where I work at. Okay. It didn't happen to me, but it became a legendary story. I've never seen this before. Have you ever seen a toilet where the way you flush the toilet is a foot pedal?
Yes.
Okay, you've seen that.
Yes.
Now, it's kind of counterintuitive if you think about it, because you might have to flush a couple of times.
Sometimes.
So what are you going to use? You're not going to use your foot because you can't get to it.
So you use your hand?
Yeah. Okay. Well, they have cans of Lysol in every stall. So
you bend it.
Basically, I get the can of Lysol and I push down on that and I flush it and everything. So
all right.
So the story came out, these 2 guys that I work with, they went into the bathroom, and I'm like I don't know about you, I'm like a cat. I find the bathroom furthest away from anybody. Yeah. I don't want anyone to know what I do. Some things should be a mystery.
Right. And you don't want somebody walking in and talking to you.
And these guys are sitting side by side in the stall, and they're chatting it up like, oh, what do you think? It's just like, I can't do it. I would lock up.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I would get stage fright. I would lock right up.
I'm with you.
So these 2 guys are like talking and everything. So the one guy, we'll call him Bob. Okay. He's talking to Chuck, and they're just battering back and forth. And Chuck says, well, all right. And he starts throwing up. And there's all kinds of commotion in the stall next door. And he's sort of like wondering what the hell is going on. So apparently Chuck, when he was done pooping, I got to get away. This is a visual for...
Well, it's not going to work. Okay, so
basically, so what he did was like he was sitting down and he bent over to pull his pants up, and he must have taken such a vile, disgusting smelling shit that it hit him right in the face.
And it made him throw up?
It made him throw up. So now, after he just like shit and destroyed himself in the stall, he's throwing up. So Bob is like cleaning up and getting out as fast as possible. And he's standing there, and Chuck comes out like beads of sweat all over his forehead. And he's like, you're not going to tell anybody about this, are you, bro? I said, absolutely not. So what does Bob do? Comes right into the break room and tells us exactly what had happened.
And now you just put it on the podcast.
Oh, just exactly happened. I didn't use a real name.
I can't believe
But that's a legendary story.
Listen, I've made some pretty stinky... Can't even believe I'm going to tell this story. Okay, here we go. So I have a ritual.
Wow, candles, chanting, lighting.
I'll get up in the morning.
Incense.
I'll get up in the morning and I'll go to the bathroom, and usually, I
move the mail.
I move the mail, as you say, and then afterwards I go and I take a shower and I come out and I get dressed, and then I usually go down to grab a cup of coffee at my local Dunkin' Donuts and come back and I'll drink the coffee, and that's it. So back here, I'm drinking the coffee. I'm going through stuff on my phone. I'm doing email and all, because I work here all the time. I'm down here in the basement.
In the command console.
In the command console. Every once in a while, I like to get a little bit of fresh air, so I can do that from out there. So I'm doing that. I get the cramp, and I'm like,
You got the encore performance
I
shit.
got the cramp, and I'm like, okay, so now you know how this house is basically a split level. I can either go up the steps and go to the upstairs bathroom, or I have this other door that comes down here, and it's like 6 steps. So I got to make my decision on which way it's going to go.
I would work with gravity.
Okay, so that's
I would go down.
That's exactly what I did, right? So
it's easier to go down.
So I come down here, and I grab it, I come in here, and I'm not my knees are bad and everything, so I'm kind of limping in here. I go down the steps. I grab that handrail. The damn handrail comes off in my hand. Down the steps I go. I make the turn. You go to the bathroom. I look. Now, here's the problem.
No toilet paper?
The toilet seat is down.
Oh.
The toilet seat is down, so I'm doing the same thing the guy is. I'm trying to get the pants down and all that. I bend over to pick up the toilet seat, and I had unrobed my buttocks, and when I bent over, it was over.
Right.
And it went that. So now it went that way instead of towards the toilet. It went the other way, and I'm like,
and I go in there.
You go in there. So I was like, God, now what? So now I'm turning around. So by the time you get done, it looked like somebody took a 5-pound can of chocolate pudding.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It was all over. I was like,
you paint quite the picture.
So I was like, and I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, Deuce and those guys are going to be here in like 3 days. I mean, so whatever.
I'll get around to it.
No, absolutely not. So of course, what I did was I got a trash bag and everything, and I went and I got like the old towels and everything, and I'm in there and I'm scrubbing and mopping everything up. Then I get to mop everything, towels, clothes. After I got done mopping the floor, mop head, all in the trash. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm 55 years old, and this shouldn't happen to a guy my age.
It's like George Burns in Going in Style as well.
If the toilet seat was up,
pissing and shitting myself, I guess the circle is complete.
If the toilet seat was up, I would have made it. But the thing I had to do was
that 0.2 of a second just caught you.
The bending over just released the Kraken. All right, enough of this.
That's a shitty conversation.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so should we get in some nonsense in the news?
Always.
All right, here we go. We got a new nonsense in the news.
We got time?
Yeah, we got time.
Look at you.
That's right. We're going to start doing it up. Sheriff finds naked man and attacks and urinates on police car. Now, I've got to tell you something about this story. I don't know how this happened, and it happened off camera, but here it goes. An 18-year-old Florida man faces charges after...
Florida? Unheard of.
Okay. Faces charges after a bizarre afternoon when he was found naked walking down from a crash scene and attacked and urinated on a sheriff's car. Marion County deputies arrested Andrew Humphreys after he ripped the door handle off a vehicle parked at, I don't know, wherever it was parked, doesn't matter, and then urinated on a patrol vehicle while he was in custody. Odd series of events started about 7:45 Wednesday as deputies responded to a vehicle accident, and they learned that the driver of one of the vehicles walked away. The deputy came upon the naked Humphreys casually.
Naked?
Dude, there's a video of it. If you go to the show notes, and
he's just whipping his cock out and pissing. He's naked.
Naked as a jaybird. Wow. Naked. So he's walking down the highway. Cop pulls up, right? Gets out of the car. Well, why don't we just actually go to the audio?
Come here. Come here. Yo. Hey.
He's still walking. He's just walking.
59 for America. I'm 10-12. He's walking southbound. He's not willing to stop for me.
Now, I don't know if this guy's
What's the deal, my man? Come over here. That's fine. Come over here. Right here in front of my car. What's the deal, man? Why are you naked?
What's the deal?
Were you in that accident up the road there?
Yes, sir.
No? Hey. Stop. Why would you try to open up my driver's door? Are you kidding me, dude? All right.
Cuffs go
Go ahead
on.
and face me so I can talk to you, my man. Let me explain to you why you're in cuffs. All right.
And
you tried
nothing
to
else.
open up the driver's door of a police car. That's not normal. Okay?
That's not normal.
So something's going on with you to where you're doing stuff that's not normal, because normal people in their normal mind are not going to go and open up the front driver's door of a police car. Yeah. In addition to that, you are absolutely naked, my man. Another thing, not normal. So let me ask you something. Have you had any sort of illegal narcotics, any sort of prescription medication that you're under the influence of?
No, sir.
You haven't taken anything?
No, sir.
Because you're sweating like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got Megs coming to check you out. Are you going to give them a hard time? What's that?
Okay, so that's where it kind of cuts off. All right, so what happened was he did so much damage to the police car that
Pissing?
No, he like ripped the door, and I guess maybe the cop put the cuffs with his hands in front of him instead of behind him. I don't know how the guy did this damage to the car, to the police car.
They don't build those Fords too tough.
It just amazes me. So I guess he was hopped up on some kind of something.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, here, I'm the cop. So I pull up on this guy. It's the middle of the day. He's just.
Oh, it's daylight.
Oh, it's daylight. I mean, you can see.
I didn't want to open it up.
No, because it'll start playing.
Right.
So he's walking down the street, and this cop pulls up and starts talking to him, and he just turns around, looks at him, and just keeps on walking like it's no big deal. Like, who, me? You're not talking to me, are you? So the cop pulls up. I would have walked out, and I would have tased this guy. I wouldn't even. I was like, there's no way. By myself, this guy's naked. All right? So he gets the handcuffs on him. The guy freaks out, starts doing whatever he did to the police car. The cop finally gets him in the car or whatever. He urinates in the car. So then he's calling for the sergeant or a sergeant or a supervisor to come out there and look at the car because of the damage the guy did to the car. They don't know what he was on. They have no idea. But right now he's charged with criminal mischief, property damage of $1,000, indecent exposure, resisting arrest. There you go.
Yeah. That's quite the ticket.
I mean, I can't imagine what would make you just go,
fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm strolling naked down the street.
That's it. I've had enough.
That guy was fresh out of fucks. He has no fucks left to give.
None. All right.
He's living totally fuck free.
That's right. All right. So here's a story that Joe came up with. He's not here for this. Sex robots are coming, ladies and gentlemen, and they're not as skeevy as you think.
You want me to read this, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
We always come back to sex robots.
I guess it's our thing.
It's a one-trick pony. Sex doll manufacturers and independent roboticists are designing and building the first human-like robots that people can have sex with. Robots are becoming smarter and more agile.
There we go.
All the time. So now they can do tricks.
There you go.
They already work in hospitals and restaurants, help us around the home, and cater to our needs. But some of these robot personal assistants are going to be more personal than others. Sex doll manufacturers and independent roboticists are now designing and building human-like robots that people can have sex with. It will be a while before these robots really look or act like people and clean themselves. But the sex toy industry, worth billions of dollars globally, is primed for penetration, no pun intended, by robots. One of the early entries into this market is an animatronic head named Harmony that's infused with artificial intelligence to give it a personality and the ability to learn about its human partner. Harmony will connect to this silicon body of a real doll, a life. Isn't that the thing that Howard Stern did years ago?
20 years. Yeah, it's been around for 20 years.
Sex doll that's been around for 20 years.
So here's my question to you.
Okay.
Now, do you think like 16-year-old Johnny gets a sex bot for Christmas? Do you think it gets to that where,
No, I would hope not.
I mean, instead of, using all the shampoo up in the shower.
See, I think that with all this stupid robot stuff, I would think as a kid, putting myself in that place and the place that I was as a 16-year-old, I would think that was just something that old people would do, and I wouldn't want to be a part of that.
But now with the video games, I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know. I mean, this is coming, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not. And I know we talk about it.
I don't think it's coming.
You really don't?
I mean, I think there'll be a niche there.
I mean, it's past me.
I think human interaction is the
I don't
best.
want, like I said, I
like people.
Right. I understand that. But see, to me, the sex part of this robot, I really don't have any interest in. I want the personal assistant that cooks the meals.
You want a completely different vehicle.
I want something that cleans the house, does the
you're
wash.
not caring about getting your ashes hauled.
No, I don't want my ashes hauled by a robot. I mean, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I'd strap on. Jimmy got so upset. He's like, I can't believe you would have sex with a dwarf.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself,
like he wouldn't.
Yeah, like he would.
Like he's above it all.
Of course he would.
Well, Jimmy's pretty tall, so just about anyone he's up against is a dwarf.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, he would definitely do it. Now, he wouldn't tell anybody he did it, but he definitely would.
So he would adopt the holier than thou attitude?
Yes. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with a dwarf.
Dwarves are people, too.
That's right.
Dwarves like cock.
Sure. Okay. Some
dwarf woman.
Dwarf women, apparently. Rosie the robot. Hosey the robot. Hosey the robot. Emily's. Johnny, listen, for your birthday, we got you. No, it's better this way. Mom, can I have Hosey the robot for my birthday? What? Can't I just give you a sock and some hand lotion?
What does that cost? Again, let's just see. It always comes down to cost. I would imagine these would cost like the same price of a Ford Focus.
But like
a lot of money.
But like everything else, as they get better with the technology, the price comes down.
Yeah, but it's still going to be a lot of money.
Not in another 20 years.
It's still going to be a ton of money. What's going to keep this powered? I
hope that in the next 20 years, when we're doing the blender and toaster show.
Wow, that soon. Christ, I'll only be 70, John.
I'll be 75. So when we're doing the blender and the toaster show, that you'll be like, I'll say, remember when I told you that this was going to be a thing? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out where the market is. Kids love these new video games, these new virtual reality games. They're awkward. They can actually hone their technique.
Don't you think there's a thing to be said of the challenge of the hunt?
Yes.
Trying to win that girl over that you thought was so far out of your reach.
That's true.
It's just like, you got the robot. It's like, I got that.
There's guys there's kids that are going to do that. Okay. Then there's the kids that don't have any game. This is for them.
That 1%.
Hosey the robot, 1%. I would say
there's an ass for every seat.
50%. Nowadays, the kids are. It's almost popular. It's popular to be a nerd. The nerd culture now is taking over. So now, for the nerd culture,
I don't believe that.
You have Hosey the robot.
I think there's a perception that the nerd segment is taking over because they control the nerdy shit like internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think in the real world, you put a jock or a preppy or a so-called normal guy in a bar or a club with a nerd, the nerd's going home to spank the monkey.
Okay, yeah. No, he's not going home to spank the monkey.
That's exactly.
He's going home to Hosey the robot.
Yeah, right. He's not leaving with a living, breathing woman.
No, he's going home to Hosey the robot. All right, so I don't have the story on the board, but we've talked about this during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, there was a girl that was working at one of the local TV stations. She was a reporter.
Yes, that was epic.
Okay, so she goes to a comedy show,
or someone knows her.
I'll tell you a story. Let me don't get ahead of me.
Okay, because I saw your post. That's why.
Okay,
but can I say one thing about it?
Sure.
If anyone has not seen this, she is a reporter on a Philadelphia news radio. Got thrown out of a comedy club. And she was giving a Philadelphia police officer a raft of shit. And how this cop, I tip my hat to you, officer, for being calm, cool, collected, and not frog marching her ass right down to the... Well, I'm not saying that they would do that. But, this guy put up with a mile of shit. She was really out and out disgusting.
Yes. She's from...
South Jersey. I don't know where.
Deptford.
Okay.
One town over from here.
So drop out the P and the T. It's just Deptford.
And I know somebody.
That knows her?
Intimately.
Oh, okay.
So
carnal knowledge?
Carnal knowledge of her.
Oh, okay. Well, look at you. do?
I was
You're a shaker and a mover.
I'm not. I didn't do anything. I just know a guy that was a shaker and a mover. I can't name names. I can't. You know, it would be that would be very unprofessional. Listen, I can't give up my sources, but apparently somebody that I know.
She named name.
Exactly. So I don't know. I mean, do you think her stock's going down? I like a little crazy in my women. I don't know about that crazy.
That's radically crazy.
Well, it was the story changed because when it first came out, she thought somebody slipped something there. Somebody Bill Cosby.
She was trying to play the I was drugged card.
Mm-hmm.
But then later she changed her story, and then I hit you up on Facebook with this. She later admitted that she had 5 shots.
Yeah, but 5 shots should not have done that to her.
But she said she was drinking she had 5 shots at the show.
Right.
But she said apparently she's also Ten's bar somewhere.
Right.
And she was drinking prior to the show. So she was pretty lit up.
Yes.
Well, you know what I always say? Alcohol is like truth serum. Alcohol goes in, truth comes out. So
that's true. All right. Well, listen, let's wrap this show up, if you don't mind.
Well, that's it? You're not going to go any more into that story?
What would you want me to tell
build
you?
Up? You know,
well, I just let you know that, somebody that she's from this area and somebody that I know knocked the bottom out of it. What else do you need to know?
Well, all right.
Okay.
You're going to put a link in this so people can watch the vile video?
I will put a link in.
It is really disgusting, but quite mesmerizing at the same time.
Yeah, I'll be honest
because it is daylight in the video.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's probably maybe
8 o'clock?
7, 8 o'clock-ish. I mean, it's still daylight.
Yes.
So she was pretty tuned up.
I know. All right. Well, listen, if you like the show, and we hope you do, you can always check us out on Vegas. What is it?
Radio Vegas Rocks.
Radio Vegas Rocks. Thank you.
From 1 to 3 Pacific time, 4 to 6 Eastern time.
On Thursdays. Check us out over there. Time to do some podcast shout-outs?
Absolutely. It's time to do some podcast shout-outs. Please check out these podcasters. They do a quality product. They are awesome. They are funny. They are informational, and we like them a lot. And we start off with part of the Hush Your Face Network, Three's Comedy with Jason, Bob, and Mindy. Kudos to them, and thanks, Jason and Mindy, for calling in earlier.
Yeah, it was nice to hear from them. Also, the Bad Cop Show with Jerry and Dave. And you know something? I'm getting a little nervous because they took 2 weeks off and they came back and they were hinting maybe the show's too much for them and maybe they're going to stop doing the show. And that would break my heart because I absolutely love listening to those guys. Even when Jerry was talking about me with my South Jersey accent. And again, he's like, John, I would never get upset. Mm-hmm. These guys could break my balls. I consider that, if those two are breaking my balls, I consider that an honor, to be quite honest with you.
I was driving home to them, and they got to this one particular, I had talked to Jerry about it. It was hysterical. I mean, the whole show, but the whole building, the woman with the building.
Married the building.
Yeah. Because that's where we're at in the world now. Yeah. People are marrying buildings.
This lady married a train station that she's been in love with since she was 9 years old. Jesus. Got to go listen to that show.
She knows what love is.
Yeah.
Bold and Belligerent with Lorne.
Josh.
You did spell it wrong here.
I did?
Lorne, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Lorne.
Is it?
I believe so. And you've got it spelled as Loren, which
I can't say it or spell it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
All right. We'll find out. We'll double check.
Josh, Mike, and Luke.
Dumbass Luke. The Tavern Podcast with Rockstar BB Byerly and King Brandon.
Who's right with Doug and Anthony. Sounding better all the time. Yes. And they respond quite vigorously to John and his fucking left-handed compliments.
Listen, I'm not backing down from this because
they're great.
I understand that.
What the hell's wrong with you?
They are great.
You guys are great, but
now all right. There's a but. They have a very good show. The sound is really improved. I love the show. But I have a podcasting app. I have a podcasting app that's called Overcast, and if you have an iPhone, I would use it. And there's a thing on it that it's called truncate silence. Okay, so what happens is if there's a spot of silence, it speeds it up to get through it, And there's spots on my phone when I'm watching it, because now I watch it because they made such a big stink out of it, where my phone goes to 1.74 speed to get rid of the silence. That's okay. They'll get better at it. I don't care, because I have a thing on my phone that takes care of it. And it doesn't.
Lighten up, Francis.
All right. It's a great show. Who's right? Oh, and they got T-shirts now, and they got themselves a website. Mm-hmm. It's quickly becoming a favorite show of mine.
And we got the Horribly Awkward podcast by Sean Fuller.
He shaved his head.
Yes, I was just going to bring that up.
Did he have a shaved head before?
I think he may have just kept it close, like you do. And
okay,
and I think he just has said
that's enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he does that for the summer. I don't know. I don't know enough about Sean to know.
Yeah, so I was shocked when I saw it. Not that it looks.
He
bad.
looks a lot like a guy that I worked at the car dealership with.
Okay,
a striking resemblance. I mean, sometimes when it comes up on my Facebook feed, I'm like, oh, what's Rob up to? Oh, that's Sean. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Now that I'm older with Shane and Kenny, Kenny's back. Shane's back from Puerto Rico. So I think they just put a new show out. I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet.
I believe you're correct, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Toe on the Trigger, Daniel Repholtz and Kaz.
What's that? Say that one more time.
Say that one more time. You get to get even with me.
That's right. Daniel and Courtney 3000.
Courtney 3000.
All right. And Ice in the Face with Sarah and Rick. And happy birthday to Sarah. It was just their birthday this week. And The Story Behind with Emily Prokop. Did you get a chance to listen to us do the jokes?
Of course I did. Does the Pope shit in the woods?
Of course the Pope shits in the woods, I guess. I don't know. She added the sound effects with that. I liked it.
Yeah.
And she said she got the idea because we were talking in the background about adding sound effects. So she threw them in there, and they did. They sounded pretty good.
No, they did sound great.
Love that show.
Unwritable Rant with the lovely Juliet Miranda.
And behind the scenes, David Miranda.
Dave the producer.
Dave the producer.
She's got Dave Miranda.
David Miranda. David Miranda.
You guys are out of control.
Juliet has a comic book out. Check that out if you're into comic books. I wish I remembered what it was.
The Pet and Meller Show with Matt Meller and
Viva la Pedros. I'm not going to let you do it again.
Okay.
Love that show. They haven't put one out. There might be a little bit behind. They just had an election over there, and Matt Meller was, again, now I know what they have to put up with us when we start talking politics in our country, because they just had an election over there, and they were, I don't know, he was talking about different things in the politics. I have no idea what it meant.
Well, their political system is different. The Nerd-a-Wells podcast with Eric, Sam, and Chris.
And the Horrible Gamers. And, you would think that the producer of the show would actually go get their names again.
But you've let us down.
I've let us down one more week.
You're busy.
I know. Epic Film Guys with Nick.
Just Nick. No last name. Just Nick.
I don't know his last name. Someone help me with. Somebody help me out with his last name. He's Epic Film Guy Nick. What do you want from me? That's as I know him.
EFG Nick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's what he is.
Everyone has a podcast with Adam and Byron.
Dave wants us to start paying tax. Dave's like, hey, listen, you guys, you're going to have to start paying some tax here because you're getting on all our networks. They're on a ton of networks. We're on 2.
Right.
So we got a little catching up to do. But yeah, that's right. I'm riding that bad cop coattail.
Ketchup or catsup?
Ketchup.
Okay. Because with Hunts, it's catsup.
Whatever you say.
Yeah. CATS.
I just wanted to catch up. I don't want to put anything. I don't want to put that.
You don't want a condiment.
I don't want a condiment. No.
What do you use, Heinz or Hunts?
I'm a Heinz guy. I'm a Heinz 57.
I abandoned Heinz.
Because
John Curry ran in 2004. And fuck you.
And he's married. Really?
Yeah.
You stopped eating Heinz ketchup.
Right.
You went to Hunts.
Switched to Hunts.
It's so funny. There was a guy.
So magic, that is me.
I forget who it was. It was a comedian. He was talking about, I think he was talking about John Kerry's. I don't need this political stuff anymore. My bitch owns ketchup.
That's it.
So anyhow.
Teresa Heinz. That was a weird thing.
What's that?
The whole Teresa Heinz and John Curry thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She was married to a senator from Pennsylvania, Heinz. I forget his first name.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Okay. He dies in a helicopter or a plane crash.
Oh, that's right.
3 months later, she marries John Curry.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory? Maybe.
Well, maybe that she was, Mr. Curry was already throwing some lumber in the woodshed while that was all going on.
He was knocking the bottom out of her.
I'm not saying that he killed Senator Hines, but I am suggesting that perhaps maybe he was...
he had his iron in her fire?
That's right, dipping his wick.
Okay.
You know, maybe she was shucking his corn, spanking his monkey, beating his bitch up, hiking under the covers.
Look at you.
Churning his butter.
Maybe. Something to look into.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Oh, Nick is Nick Hastings. Nick Hastings from Epic Phil Guns. Thank you, Emily.
Great. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Since John dropped the ball dramatically on
What do you
that.
want from me? I told you.
Emily's got your back.
She does. I've already deemed her. She's now the Emily Prokop.
The. Of all the Emily Prokops you know,
she
is the Emily Prokop.
Yes. I'll tell you what. When I first met Emily, she was new into podcasting. And now she's a player in the podcasting space. Mm-hmm. Like she's a.
Did you meet her face to face or just via?
Never met her face to.
Okay.
Just through
in the community interfacing,
and, and like video chats. We video chatted and stuff like that. We've actually did back when there was a thing called Blab during the International Podcast Day. We actually did like a 2-hour show one time, which was a lot of fun.
Blab crashed and burned, didn't it? Was that
Blab? Yeah, somebody
didn't it last
bought them.
about 3 months or something.
No, they lasted longer than that. But somebody bought them, and then all of a sudden they're like, "That's it!" And people had their whole platform. They did all their shows on Blab, and that was it. Boom, done.
Wow,
gone. You went there, and everything was shut off.
Wow.
Bye.
That's like the big FU.
It is the big FU.
Damn.
So that's what they always say.
I didn't know that happened.
Don't build your house on somebody else's platform. Build your own platform.
Very true.
All right. And we will see you next week. Stop on back for another episode of the Brand X Podcast.
Maybe Joe will be here. We don't know.
Shut the fuck up so I can end the recording.
That's it. We're just getting into it.